LaSalle swimmers are setting records abound, and it's only week 3. What? I'm Anna Gomez.
And I'm Dana Pecora. Men's basketball started their season at home. How did they fare? We've got the details. You're watching LaSalle TV's home for Explorer Athletics, SportsLine.
Welcome to SportsLine. It is the most wonderful time of the year, and of course I'm talking about basketball season. We have all of the details on both of our teams, including a glimpse into the men's home opener against St. Peter's.
And later, Steven Silvestro will be talking with volleyball setter Katie Wood to talk about a season of improvement.
But first, let's take a look at our SportsLine top 3. It was my homework. I was supposed to think of a jingle.
Do-do-do-do. There it is.
Copyrighted. Number 1, women's basketball already brought home 2 different individual weekly awards. To start it off, the star of the team, Amy Griffin, was named Co-Player of the Week in the Atlantic 10. Griffin went 10 for 18 from the field, posting a career high of 7 3-pointers and a 30-point performance against Lafayette to open the season. The other came from redshirt freshman Shaquana Edwards, winning Atlantic 10 Rookie of the Week. Against Lafayette, at Hartford, the Connecticut product had 17 points along with 7 assists, 5 rebounds, and 4 steals against Lafayette in her LaSallian debut.
Number 2, LaSalle swimmers have been making waves this week with 2 standouts earning weekly awards. Junior Olivia DiStefano was named A10 Performer of the Week after recording 3 first-place finishes in the Delaware Rider Tri-Meet this past weekend. There, she won the 100 back and the 50 free. She was also a member of the 200 medley relay team that took first in the meet. On the men's side, Fabian Bergman won his 3rd A10 Performer of the Week award, most recently for his heroics at the Delaware Rider Tri-Meet. The senior won the 100 back and the 200 back, finishing a ladder a whopping 5 seconds before the next competitor. Bergman punctured a stellar performance by leading the 200 medley relay team to a first-place finish.
More on that squad later. Oh my gosh. Number 3, women's soccer was defeated in the most anticipated game of the season. The A10 champs exited the NCAA tournament in the opening round to number 11 Rutgers. The Scarlet Knights dominated the game and will move on to face a tough West Virginia squad in Morgantown. Despite the loss, the Explorers team dazzled audiences all season long, winning numerous weekly accolades for their fantastic play. The team also set a program record for goals in a season with 48 and tied the program record for wins with this in-season with 17. LaSalle finished their season with an overall record of 17, 4, and 2. We here at SportsLine really appreciate women's soccer for giving us this fabulous season and wish the seniors very much well moving forward.
All right.
And that does it for recaps. Let's go into our weekly
Now over to recaps. Women's soccer lost a tough one to Rutgers in the opening round of the NCAA tournament. The first half was dominated by the Knights, who outshot LaSalle 9-0. Larissa Zambelli came up big for LaSalle, making 5 saves to keep the game scoreless going into the half. The Knights caught fire early in the second half. Rutgers freshman phenom Amira Ali put the Scarlet Knights on the board in the 51st minute, slipping the ball past Zambelli. The Knights would add to their lead just minutes later, scoring on a deflection in the 54th minute. Despite the deficit, Madison Bauer managed to score LaSalle's only goal in the 65th to cut the Rutgers lead in half. The goal was Bauer's 11th of the year and was the 4th goal Rutgers conceded all year. Unfortunately, the Knights had a reassurance goal in the 80th minute to shut the door on the Explorers, handing them a 3-1 loss and ending their playoff run.
It was still a great season. Men's basketball held their home opener against the colorless St. Peter's Peacocks on November 11th. Tegan Lamont has the coverage.
The LaSalle men's basketball team took on the defending CIT champions St. Peter's in their home end-season opener on November 11th. The Explorers lost the opening tip, but that's about all they lost in this game. The Explorers came out and dominated St. Peter's offensively and defensively, with the biggest disparities between the two squads coming in shooting percentage, where LaSalle shot 47% compared to St. Peter's 36%, and rebounding, where LaSalle secured 7 more rebounds than their opponent. The Explorers were led by Pookie Powell, who put in a game-high 18 points, and BJ Johnson, who finished with his first of hopefully many double-doubles this season with his 15 points and 11 rebounds. Freshmen Miles Brookins and Jameer Moultrie both added their first buckets as Explorers, as Brookins added 7 points to the Explorers' cause, and Moultrie added a late 3. The Explorers walked away from the game with an impressive 61-40 victory and a 1-0 record to start their new season. For SportsLine, I'm Tegan Lamont.
Men's basketball traveled to the Palestra to take on Penn in their first Big Five game of the season on November 13th. The game was an absolute classic, with the score locked at 50 at the end of regulation, forcing not just 1 but 2 overtime periods. The Explorers found their way through the contest with a 75-71 victory over their cross-city rivals. BJ Johnson had the second double-double in the Explorers' second game of the season, putting in 20 points and 14 rebounds. It was not all sunshine and daisies for Johnson, however, as he turned the ball over 8 times and fouled out with under 4 minutes to play in the second overtime. In Johnson's absence, a few Explorers stepped up to bring home the win. Amar Stukes scored 8 of his 12 points in those last 4 minutes. Pookie Powell also chipped in, finishing the game with 17 points.
The women's basketball team dominated their opening game against Lafayette, pulling out a 74-47 win. Putting the team on top was Amy Griffin, who had 30 points, followed by Shaquana Edwards, who had 17 during her collegiate debut. Shalina Miller also recorded a career-high 16 points. Griffin finished 10 for 18 from the floor and added a team-high 8 rebounds. Edwards also contributed 7 assists and 5 rebounds as well. Unfortunately, the Blue and Gold did not find the same success at American University on November 13th, as they fell to the Eagles 66-48. The scoring for the Explorers came from Miller, who put up 20 points, and Griffin, who added 10. The game was even until the end of the third quarter, when the Eagles took the 47-42 lead going into the fourth. American took over the final minutes of the game as LaSalle fell by a double-digit deficit.
Volleyball wrapped up their season as they were defeated by Duquesne in 4 sets. LaSalle opened up the game with a victory in the first, but struggled to keep that momentum in the later matches. The Explorers also had a best of .264 in the first set. Catherine Edgington contributed greatly to the opening effort with 3 consecutive kills, recording 13 overall. Brianna Davis and Samantha Graver led the team with 14 kills each, while Catherine Wood racked up 44 assists. On the defensive end, Jensen Schertz recorded 30 digs in the match. Unfortunately, it was just not enough, as the Dukes won 3 consecutive matches to take the 3-1 victory. The Explorers ended their season with an overall record of 14 wins and 16 losses, improving their conference record from last year with 4 wins.
Men's and women's cross country both finished in the middle of the pack in the NCAA Mid-Atlantic Regional Championships on November 10th. The men's team finished the 10K in 17th place out of 26 teams, finishing the meet with an average time of 32 minutes and 15 seconds. Sophomore runner Anthony Hawthorne set the pace for LaSalle with a time of 31 minutes and 47 seconds for a 68th place finish in a field of nearly 200 runners. He was followed by teammates Ryan James and Dylan Teaton, who turned in times just over 32 minutes. The women's team finished in 16th place of 28 teams with an average time of 22 minutes. Morgan Zeckley led the Explorers in the 6K, finishing the race with a time of 21 minutes and 21 seconds to finish in 50th. She was followed by Caitlin Poez and sophomore Grace Mancini, who both clocked in with times just under 23 minutes.
Swimming and diving competed in their second tri-meet of the season, this time facing Delaware and Ryder on November 11th. For the women, the team overall finished with 195 points to beat Ryder, thanks to A10 Performer of the Week Olivia DiStefano in the 100 back and 50 free. And the relay team of DiStefano, Emily Walbert, Rory Kearns, and Hannah Elliott notched first in the 400 free. For the men, they defeated Ryder and Delaware to finish with more than 50 and 100 point margins, respectively, over the squads. And we're going to say his name again. Fabian Bergman won his star events in the 100 and 200 backs and joined the relay team of Jakub Bartoszewicz, Sam Badtala, Marcus Forsgren for a first place finish in the 200 medley. And sophomore Christoph Raz earn the team points with a dub in the 200 breast.
Well, that's all we've got for recaps, but stick around because when we come back, we'll have an interview with a volleyball star. Stay tuned.
Hey, I'm Eddie Dunn, host of LaSalle's favorite TV game show, Q&A. Do you know that LaSalle TV is an entirely student-run organization? Probably right. Do you also know that I happen to know all of the words to Eminem's Rap God? It's crazy, right? It's like 6 minutes. I'm not going to do it here, but just trust me that I know the words.
We love LaSalle TV.
I love that new show, Flip.
I gotta keep up, so news you can use has to be my favorite.
I love LaSalle sports, so SportsLine is my favorite TV show.
We love LaSalle TV.
I love that new show with the psychology department, Relationships 101.
I love Backstage Pass. It's my favorite show.
We love LaSalle TV.
Sports Talk Philadelphia.
Q&A, I love that show.
It's gotta be LaSalle TV News.
I love LaSalle TV.
Welcome back. The volleyball team saw a lot of improvements this year and moved out of the A10 basement. Steven Silvestro sat down with sophomore setter Katie Wood to talk about some of the highs and lows of their season. Check it out.
Hello, welcome to On the Sidelines today. I'm Steven Silvestro. I'm here with a very special guest from the volleyball team, Katie Wood. She's the setter for the team. All right, I wanted to start off with a quick question. The season started so fast for the volleyball team. You guys started 8-1. You won the Akron invite. What did you guys have going on in that beginning stage?
It was just really getting to know all the freshmen coming in and working together as a team to make sure that going into the season we were battle tested and ready to go.
All right, then right after that, you guys faced Penn. This is the Big Five rival you guys play most years. You guys got the victory, and it was the first time since 1999 you got the victory. I know I was only 1 year old at that time. A lot of time in between. How did that finally feel to get that victory over them?
I felt great. After we won, our coaches came in, congratulated us, and just about how hard we worked coming up to that and like actually being able to close out a game.
Yeah, because I saw there was a few games you guys, when you first started the A10 against both Georges, George Washington and George Mason. You guys had the lead, and then you fell back in the fourth and fifth sets, and you ended up falling to those first two A10 games. But then you guys still bounced back. You had a 4-game improvement over the season. You were only 2 games short of 500. If you just won one more, it would have switched it, and it would have been the first time you were 500 since 1998. But with the A10, you had a solid crew, and you had much improvement with 3-game swing from last year. What did you guys do to change that?
We just came in from the summer like working hard and making sure everyone was doing what we needed to do over the summer to come in and really like capitalize on a lot of games in the A10.
So I know for yourself, you were on the A10 All-Rookie team last year, and then this year you came and you improved drastically. You had almost 200 more assists than you did last year, and you were only the second Explorer actually since 2007 to have over 1,000 assists. How does that feel?
It's really just credit to my teammates for them getting me the ball and me being able to put it in the right spot for my hitters to put it down.
All right, and then with this year, you had the additions of Graver, Chanchuli, and Lau. Is it Lowe? Lowe. How did those 3 affect this team going?
They came in and really did a great job. Sam on the outside, Riley in the middle, and Alyssa bringing in our defensive background a lot better than it was last year.
All right, and then let's look ahead a little bit till next year. You guys are going to be losing your seniors, Davis and Carr. How are you guys trying to look to fill in those 2 spots?
In our outside, we have 1 outside coming in next year who could really step up, and our outsides that are still on the team have improved so much over the past 2 years that I've been here, and it's just going to go up from there.
All right, I know. And you also get one of your top captains back. Jensen's coming. How important is she coming back to this team for next year?
Jensen's really been our rock, like even since I've been here, and I heard from when she was a freshman, she was just a rock. She's been very steady throughout the whole time she's been here.
All right, so you go back to that. You guys, you haven't had a winning season since '98. Are you predicting a winning season for next year?
That's what we all want.
That's what we want. All right. That's all I have for On the Sidelines. I'm Steven Sylvester. I would like to thank Katie Wood for her time, and let's go volleyball for next year.
Well, thank you, Steven. I mean, let's talk about this volleyball team for a second. They didn't have the winning season that I think they were hoping for, but they significantly improved from their last season. I mean, going into the conference, they were unstoppable. Going into the and then coming out of the A10s, I mean, they improved their A10 record from the season before, which is, I mean, what we're looking for with this team, because they are a growing team. There's a lot of young, fresh talent coming up in this team, including our sophomore setter, Katie Wood. So I think it's really exciting to see where she and the rest of the squad are going to end up in the next couple of years.
I think it'll be exciting.
Keep an eye out.
Yeah.
It's going to be good.
Yeah.
Well, that wraps it up for this segment. Let us run into another break, because when we come back, we're going to be breaking down a lot of men's basketball. I mean,
a ton.
Stay tuned. Upcoming week. So let us welcome SportsLine correspondent Josh Abrams for this week's Explorer Report.
Thank you, Anna. For this week's Explorer Report, our LaSalle men's basketball team takes on the Wildcats of Northwestern on Saturday, November 18th at 1:30 p.m. at the Mohegan Sun Arena in Connecticut. The Wildcats are currently ranked 20th in the NCAA, boasting a 2-1 record after dropping their most recent contest to Creighton. Meanwhile, the Explorers of LaSalle have also opened their season positively with wins over St. Peter's and UPenn, holding their record at 2-0 on the season. Despite Northwestern's tough loss to Creighton last night, this is bound to be a very tough matchup for our Explorers, as the Wildcats bring in a starting lineup with all 5 players averaging 10 or more points per game. Included in this set of players is Wildcats guard Brian McIntosh, who leads the team in scoring with 19 points per game, and he also leads the team in assists per game with 6.3. Also leading the Wildcat offense is junior forward Vic Law, who's just behind Bryant in scoring with 17.3 points per game. If LaSalle wants to see a victory, they are going to need heavy contributions on offense from B.J. Johnson and Pookie Powell. Another major factor is going to be who wins the rebounding battle, and that will be in the hands of Tony Washington and Miles Brookins.
Thanks, Josh.
No problem.
So what stuck out to me most that freaked me out was when you said that the whole starting lineup is averaging like 10 points.
10 or more points.
And now LaSalle, if anything, was kind of known for their defense. So let us know how big of a test this is going to be.
Well, it's a big test not only because of their ranking, but because of the conference that they play in. Now, when you think of Big Ten basketball, you don't really think about dominance too much because the ACC has dominated basketball in the past couple of years. But either way, this is a really good test for the Explorers. I think Northwestern is just about as good or better than any other team in the Atlantic 10. And then it's really going to be up to our big guys to try and shut down the Northwestern offense, especially in the paint, considering that the Wildcats don't have too much of an offensive threat down low.
Mm-hmm. So for LaSalle, do you think there's kind of going to be any unexpected stars? You know, anyone that can really, pop out this game?
I think this is a game where we can really get to see our young players shine. And I'm not saying that we're going to get blown out, but in the case that we do, I think this is a game where we can see people like Miles Brookins get some more playing time. I know I mentioned him in the report, but he's been playing really well for the limited amount of minutes that he's been playing. He's been playing about 10 to 15 minutes per game, and he's playing very efficiently, scoring the ball whenever he touches it, or just making the right decisions. So I could see him having an expanded role. And I think Saul Fury, even though he has a year of playing under his belt, this is another game for him to shine, just considering that he had a double-double against Penn. He's showing his playmaking ability. He's another young star that could come up.
Definitely.
You said this was going to be important for our young players. How important is this game going into the rest of the season? I mean, we've just had a week of basketball. Where are we? Where do we want to be after this game?
Well, we look really good right now, considering that we're 2-0. We started off 2-0 last year. The key to this season is going to be getting that signature win. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be Northwestern because it's so early in the season. You got to figure some kinks are going to be showing to us during those games. But we have Miami coming up. We have Temple coming up, another Big Five team. I wouldn't necessarily call the Penn game a signature win just because it's a Big Five game. It's a rivalry matchup. That game can go either way. But if we can win any of these next 3 games where we have 2 ranked teams coming up and another Big Five opponent, as I just mentioned, but if we can win one of these games, I think it'll definitely give us some momentum. It'll give us some confidence going into conference play. And you got to remember, conference play is really one of the more important factors into getting that March Madness bid.
Yeah, well, definitely. You already previewed a little bit of what's coming up. Now, I want to kind of get into it. So November 22nd, we have Miami, and right now they are 2-0, and they're looking a little scary to me. I think it's going to be a big test. The last time, just to break it down for our viewers, the last time we played Miami was in 2015, and we lost 95-49. So
close game, right?
Yeah. What can you say to kind of help us out a little, because we're free? I think we're free.
Well, I think you got to remember back in 2015, we only had Jordan Price on offense, BJ, Pookie, and
everyone was short, physically short.
Physically short, and the team itself was
Anna Gomez short.
I'm 5 foot for reference.
Not that short, but that team 2 years ago was just not prepared for what was coming for them in every game. This year and last year when we had Jordan Price, but this year we still have BJ and Pookie, who are veterans on the team, and we still have we have a lot, like we've been talking about, a lot of young talent. It's really just going to be up to the older guys to lead the way. They're going to have to set the tone. They're going to have to help put this game away as best as they can. But it's an overall team effort. We still got to see some bright spots from the young guys. I think we'll see how it all molds out.
Yeah, I think it's definitely just a wait and see type of game. I don't think anyone knows what to expect. But then again, November 26th we have Temple. Now Temple is a Philly 5, Big Five
Broad
school.
Street bully.
So this is something that is always an anticipated game because obviously it's, but this time we're at home. So last year, again, a little bit of recap last year, we played Temple in our opening game at Temple, and we lost to them 97-92 in overtime. So that is quite the heartbreaker. Tell us a little bit about how being at home, how do you think, let's make this comeback? How do you think it'll?
Well, away games are usually tough for any team.
Yeah.
Going into another environment with a rowdy home crowd, especially, I think definitely the crowd is going to be the sixth man for LaSalle on Sunday. Last year we went into Temple and we were basically down the whole game until Jordan Price, our favorite. You guys said he's your favorite.
SportsLine's fave. Yeah,
SportsLine's fave. He hit a game-tying 3, and sure enough, we were able to spend another 5 minutes in Temple and try and prove ourselves. But we gotta win the home games, and we gotta win the like I said, the conference games are more important. But Big Five wins are pretty momentous. I mean,
and they're exciting.
Cross-city rivals. We're 10 minutes away from each other. I think it's going to be a really exciting game. It's another game for everyone to shine out.
We need everybody to come to that game. I mean, It's just an exciting game. It's one of those games in the atmosphere. President Hanich was talking about in her interview a couple weeks ago how it's the fans and it's the atmosphere and it's so exciting. It's what LaSalle is. So this is definitely one of those games that is going to be the excitement. It's going to be, Philly 5, let's win it, let's get our revenge. Are you going to be there?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking to come back down for the game. I know it's during break and whatnot, but it's LaSalle basketball. You got to get, who
Philip
cares?
wants some leftover turkey and come down to the game.
Yeah,
One last question, real quick.
What's up?
Who's your MVP player right now of the season?
It has to be B.J. Johnson. He has a double. He's going to put up double doubles all season, so it's got to be him.
Beautiful. I completely agree.
Everyone does.
Thank you, Josh.
Yes, thank you so much.
And that just about wraps it up for us this week. If you can't make it out to see the Explorer Report, be sure to tune in next week for our coverage and keep up with this weekend's other sporting events by visiting goexplorers.com or check out this week's edition of the Collegian.
Also, check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/LaSalleTV and on Twitter at SportsLine LTV. We welcome you to send us your thoughts and suggestions there.
For Steve, Josh, Tegan, and our Sportsline team, I'm Anna Gomez.
And I'm Data Pecora. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you at the Temple game on Sunday.